G'day, Lou from Elgas here. Today I'm going to talk about employee share plans and the 3 things to look at to see whether your business is ready for one. Well, to start with, I'll explain a bit about me. So I've got 29 years experience as an accountant. 20 of those years are in running my own accounting practice. So I've had a lot of experience dealing with medium and small businesses, which has given me the ability to see which businesses might be appropriate for using a share plan. So exactly what is an employee share plan or ESOP? Okay, what it is an additional structure in your business whereby employees are allocated profits over a predetermined benchmark. So let's say your profit was $1 million, so your budgeted profit was $1 million, and the actual profit ended up being, let's say, 1.2 million. So what you do is you might allocate 20% or 30% to an employee share plan. So the share plan might end up with $20,000 or $30,000 in it for the year. And then that $20,000 or $30,000 is then used by the employee share plan to buy shares in the trading company. So the employees don't get the actual ownership of those shares until, let's say, 5 years later. That handcuffs them to the business. But what they do get along the way is they get a share of profits. So the dividends that are declared by the company, some of those go to the ESOP and the employees get a share in the profit each year. Statistically speaking, the US has about 36% of its workforce in employee share plans, which is far greater participation than we have in Australia. So what are the 3 points to consider whether a share plan is right for you? Well, one is the size of the business. So there's a couple of stages you might think about an employee share plan. One is at startup. So generally in a startup, there's some highly specialised technical knowledge required, and you might use an employee share plan to handcuff or provide an incentive for key employees to stay with a startup business for obvious reasons. The second stage that you might use a share plan is where you get to, say, $500,000 worth of profit, and you really want to go for growth and scale the business up. And it's starting to get hard to do it on your own. So the idea is to get some key employee involvement with your business. The second thing to look for in whether an employee share plan is right for you is whether you want to retain key staff or not. So if there's key personnel in your business, one way of keeping them or incentivising them to stay within your business structure is to set up a share plan. So you allocate some of the profit, as I discussed before, over a certain benchmark. They get some share ownership, and then what they do is they start thinking like business owners, which is really what you want your key employees to do. Statistically speaking, employee share plans companies tend to have a retention rate for their employees. It's about 3 times higher than other businesses without them. So they clearly work from that point of view. So you can imagine you've got 2 employees. One of them is fully engaged in the business. They'll obviously be wanting to be creative, to make contributions, to come up with ideas. If they see wastage, they're far more likely to put a stop to it. Whereas an employee who's not incentivised will probably turn up to get paid and not necessarily make a contribution to the business. Now, we all know that's not true all the time, but it'll make that difference, as proven by statistics. So the third point to consider whether an ESOP might be right for you is whether you're in growth mode or not. So by growth, it means that you've got a business that you're ready to accelerate. You're not prepared to sit idly by and just sit in the armchair and watch what happens in the business. You want to actively drive the business forward. So an employee share plan is certainly something that will help you do that. Statistics show that profit improves by between 8 and 11% when you've got an ESOP in place, because the employees that are in the ESOP have an ownership mindset, which means they're involved and they're highly motivated and incentivised to increase revenue and decrease costs. So there you have it. There's the 3 things which might help you decide whether an ESOP is something to consider for your business. If you'd like to know any more, please get in touch or come to one of our seminars. Thank you.